right, next example on your paper, we have this table. It says write your answer is a fraction, a decimal, and a percentage. So this is what we want to get in the habit of doing, and make sure we're reading directions. It's asking for all three, so we're going to do that. All right, so it says determine the relative frequency. So I'm going to start by making sure that when I see that word relative frequency in front of frequency, that means I'm going to be making my fractions. All right, so I start with my first. How many people play an instrument? All right, so and this is of those surveys. So a relative frequency of those surveys. So every question is out of how many were surveyed. So in order to look at your table and get how many surveyed total, where is the total table? As always in the bottom right hand corner. The table total is always going to be in the bottom right hand corner. In this case, it's your 40. So all of these are going to be out of 40. So how many out of the 40 play an instrument? So I come up to play an instrument. How many people play an instrument? Well, 16 take a foreign language and play an instrument, but 6 don't take a foreign language. So total would be here, 22. So play an instrument, we have 22 out of 40. So, all right, let's write that as a fraction. Let's write that as a decimal. And I'm going to go to my calculator. I'm going to be doing this on my calculator in my hand, so I'm not going to flip to it each time. Hopefully you have your calculator out in your hand so you can be doing this with me. All right, and I'm going to do 22 divided by 40, or 22 over 40, and I get 0.55. So here it is as a decimal. And then we turn that into a percentage. We move the decimal 2 places to the right. So we get 55%. All right, I'm going to switch colors for the next one. Number 2, how many people do not play an instrument? All right, so out of the 40, we know that's our denominator because this is all out of the surveyed. How many do not play an instrument? So does not play an instrument, and the total would be 18. So I just came over the does not play an instrument and went over to the end of the row, and I got 18 out of 40. So there's my fraction. I want to turn that into a decimal, so I'm going to divide in my calculator. 18 divided by 40. I get 0.45. And that is a percentage. Move the decimal 2 places to the right, becomes 45%. All right, the next one. Number 3, how many take a foreign language? So come to the foreign language column, and I have how many people that take a foreign language? A total of 26, and that's out of 40 people total surveyed, so my fraction would be 26 out of 40. I'm going to turn that into a decimal by doing 26 divided by 40 in my calculator, which gives me 0.65, and then we turn that into a percentage, which would be 65%. All right, and last but not least, how many people do not take a foreign language? So come over to does not take a foreign language. We have a total of 14 people, and that would be out of 40 people surveyed. So this last one is 14 over 40 as my fraction. 14 divided by 40 is 0.35. And as a percentage, that would be 35%. So that's how you get your percentages. And all of these were of those surveyed. That was at the very beginning of my directions. Determine the relative frequency of those surveyed. And then they gave us different things they wanted to find out of those surveyed. Okay? Let's look at some different ones with combinations.